Brought to you by Penguin.
The 1+1
by Jojo Moyes.
Read by Elizabeth Bower,
Ben Elliot,
Nicola Stanton,
and Stephen France.
Chapter 1. Jess. The irony did not escape Jessica Thomas that she'd lost the best job she'd ever had because of a diamond. Not because she stole it, but because she didn't. Jess and Natalie had cleaned Mr. and Mrs. Ritter's holiday home for almost 3 years, since the beachfront holiday park was part paradise, part building site, back when the developers promised local families access to the swimming pool and assured everyone that a large upmarket development would bring benefits to their little seaside town, instead of sucking out what remained of its life. The Ritters were standard occupants. They came down from London most weekends with their children. Mrs. Ritter generally stayed on throughout the holidays while her husband stayed in the city. They spent most of their time on the manicured stretch of the beach and visited the town only to fill up their people carrier with diesel or to top up their groceries at the retail park. Jess and Natalie cleaned their spacious Farrow and Ball painted 4-bedroom home twice a week when they were there and once when they weren't. It was April, and judging by the empty juice cartons and wet towels, the Ritters were in residence. Natalie was cleaning the ensuite bathroom and Jess was changing the beds, humming along to the radio that they carried between jobs. As she whipped off the duvet cover, she heard a sound like the crack of a high-velocity air rifle. Living where she did, she knew this sound well. She could have bet money that there were no air rifles at beachfront. Her gaze was caught by something glittering on the floor. She stooped by the window and picked up a diamond earring between her thumb and forefinger. She held it up to the light, then walked next door to where Natalie was on her knees scrubbing the bath, lines of dark sweat outlining her bra strap. It had been a long morning. Look. Natalie climbed to her feet, squinting. What is it? Diamond. It fell out of the bed linen. That can't be real. Look at the size of it. They gazed at the earring as Jess rotated it between finger and thumb. Lisa Ritter isn't going to have fake diamonds, not with their money. Can't diamonds cut glass? She ran it speculatively down the edge of the window. Great idea, Jess. You just keep going until her window falls out. Natalie stood up, rinsed her cloth under the tap. More importantly, where's the other one? They shook out the bed linen, peered under the bed, sifted through the deep pile of the beige carpet on their hands and knees like police at a murder scene. Finally, Jess checked her watch. They looked at each other and sighed. One earring. Your basic nightmare. Things they had found while cleaning people's houses. False teeth. An escaped guinea pig. A long-lost wedding ring. They were given a box of chocolates for this. A signed photograph of Cliff Richard. No chocolates. The owner denied all knowledge. Money. Not just small change, but a whole turquoise wallet stuffed full of 50s. It had fallen behind a chest of drawers. When Jess handed it over to the client, Mrs. Linda, who had rented number 4 beachfront for 3 months over the summer, she'd looked at it in mild surprise. I was wondering where that had gone, she said, and pocketed it, without a backward look, as you would a mislaid hair slide or a remote control. Guinea pigs aside, it was not as great as you might think turning up valuables. One earring, or a pile of loose notes, and clients would give you that vague sideways look, the flicker in their eyes that meant they were wondering if you had pocketed the rest. Mr. Ritter would definitely assume they had taken the other earring. He was the kind of man who made them feel guilty just for being in his house. That was on the days he deigned to acknowledge they were there. So what do we do? Natalie was bundling up the duvet cover ready for the laundry. Leave it on the side. We'll just write a note saying we couldn't find the other. They usually left a note or two out during their rounds saying what they'd done, or a polite reminder that they were owed money. It's the truth. Should we say we shook out all the bedding? Whatever, I just don't want her thinking we took it. Jess finished writing and placed the earring carefully on the piece of paper.
Sample complete.
Ready to continue?